This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so let's start today's session then. So let's complete the process mapping part today.
Uh, Chandra, I don't see 23rd and 24th classes actually. Yeah,
23rd and 24th.
yeah, is it added in the path?
Just a second.
And also the 16th date also it is not added.
16th.
This
Okay, see.
conference will now be
So
recorded.
total 3 days you are saying, right? It is missing. Okay, I will check later. Okay,
Okay, Chandra.
I got confirmation. It's uploaded. Okay, let me check and we'll get back to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yesterday recording is uploaded, Chandra.
But actually I don't see that yesterday's class. That's why day before yesterday's also. I mean day before yesterday it's like
Okay, okay, okay,
we don't have the
Srikant,
class. That's
we'll
fine.
check. Okay, I think you have separate folder for it. You
Okay.
will get it. So I thought it's uploaded in both drives. We'll check it. Okay,
Okay.
we'll check it. Okay. Hmm. So here, let's start then. So, mm, okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so now let's start. Okay, let me edit this. I close. Then message mapping processing. Let's continue. Okay, so here you can see this. Okay, so we discussed some of the node functions yesterday. So statistic functions also completed yesterday, right? So the count also explained, index also explained. Okay, so now let's focus. Let's complete the remaining node functions. So the first is let's check for a create f function. Okay, what is this create f? Okay, so see create f means like if you want to create any of the target field or a root element, okay, root element based on the condition, okay, based on the condition from this particular items, okay, based on the condition from this particular invoice item. Okay, so for example, whenever I have, okay, whenever I have an invoice item, I mean in the item level, whenever I have item name and item number, so then only create this item, otherwise don't create this particular item root element. Okay, so see, I have, whenever I have only item name and item number, then only the item is valid, otherwise without cost there is no use of this item, right? So such cases I don't want to create this item. For example, let's take a one sample example here. So see, in this one of the item, I'm removing the third item. I'm removing this particular, I mean, like item name and number. Okay, item name and number I have removed and I saved it. So now with that, let's add this condition. First, how to find this particular field is exist or not from the source. Okay, this particular field exists or not from the source. So for that, we have one of the function. Okay, one of the function that is exists. okay, exists. Okay, this function will check. Okay, this function will check this particular node or field are available at the source side or not. Okay, so this is the item name. Okay, so okay, invoice item. Sorry, I have to do the mapping for a item level, not at the invoice item level, because that is the root element. Okay, so now this is the item level. So I have to map this particular item number and also item name. Already mapped item number. I'm mapping now. So total. So I no need to take care about item now, because based on these two fields. Okay, so existency, it will create, I am creating this particular function. So here you can see these two fields. Okay, so here the exist function, what it will do is, for each occurrence inside of it, okay, for each occurrence, so for each occurrence, if this particular field contains this value, this field contains or not, exist or not, it will check. Sorry, if it is exist, then it will return true. If not, it will return false to the target. Okay, it will return false to the target. So now exist function I am using, right? So this is exist. So now what I'm trying to do is, so I'm just adding add condition here. Okay, so here arithmetic. So this is the sorry, and end condition here. So this end condition will take these two values. Okay, so this end condition is taking these two values. That means if it is exist, it will return true. Then this end condition will return true. Okay, true means like we will check this particular create if now. So if I pass true to the creative, then it will create a root. I mean this element at the target set. If I pass false to the target element, it will not create. Create this particular element. Okay, so now let's check this display here. Let me upload this file now. So here this is the invoice.xml. Okay, so this is invoice.xml. So see, this is so let's check this existence. So just check a exist function. So it will check the field existency. So here in the third occurrence, we don't have these fields, right? You can see how it will show. So here. So the first is iPhone. Okay, everything is iPhone here. It's showing like so. How many? Okay, two will add on. Okay, let me remove this one of the occurrence. Okay, otherwise you will confuse. Okay, I'm removing this particular. So see here, I'm taking iPhone 1, iPhone 2, something like that. Just item names. Okay, so below I don't have this particular item name and number. Okay, so now let me update this particular payload. So let me refresh this exist function here. So see iPhone 1, iPhone 2, and the context change. So see context change, and finally it is closing. Okay, see true. The final value I'm getting as a false, because this is there is no field at the target. I mean third context. So see here you are able to see only two occurrences, right? Two occurrences you are able to see, but here it is returning three values, because third occurrence there is no value. The field is not generated there. Okay, the field is not generated there. So such cases it is returning as a false here. It is returning false here. Okay, so here you can see this is returning false for the third case. So this is also returning false for the false case. So this is the two display queue values here. So if I go and check this particular end condition here, to the display queue, you can see this true false. So false means the third item will not be created at the target side. It will be make it as a suppress. Suppress means like here this value, the third item will not be created at the runtime. So if I show, so see, everyone clear on this? So if I go and simulate these values here, so with the same payload, so I have a three items from the source, but the third item will not be created because of this creative condition. So that means like exist function will check this particular existence of the field. Okay, exist function will check the existence of the field, and another one. Okay, whatever we have here, right? So there's this. So here only one item is created. So let me check item 10 right here. Let me check here. So here maybe I have to do one thing here. So I have to use this remove context function. Okay, remove context. So see, it is coming in the different. So see, actually these items are all in single context. Okay, so that is the reason it is not creating a multiple values here. So if I use a remove context here, so see now I will get all the values in a, I mean like a second item also will be created here. So see inside of it, you can see both items are created. So see item number 10 and item number 20, and in item name 10 and 20, and item number 1 and item number 2. Okay, the item cost is 50,000. Item cost is, so the third item will not be created because it's based on the condition which we configured here. So see, the third item will not be created based on the condition which we configured here. It will make it as a suppress. That means the creative is not creating this particular value here. Okay, so this is the way you can just simply use this exist and creative functions to generate the target elements or fields based target nodes root elements based on the conditions. Okay, this is about creative and exist functions. Okay, now let's go directly to this particular map with default function. Okay, it's one of the main important function here. Okay, map with default. What does mean by map with default here? Okay, map with default. So here if you see this, uh, so see, let me delete everything here. So I'm directly mapping this item fields. I don't have any conditions here. Sorry. So here you can see this. So map with default, why it is very important is, so see target side, the field is mandatory field. For example, okay, so see here there's a item number and item cost is mandatory fields. Okay, so such cases when you are connecting it, item name is mandatory, right? So I'm not passing the item name in the third item occurrence. Okay, third item occurrence. Okay, so third item occurrence. So then what will happen is actually this particular each item root element requires this particular item number, right? Item name, right? Item name. So here it has to be, I mean, it is a mandatory field here. Okay, it is a mandatory field. Okay, without this, you can, I mean, this is the mandatory field here. So when it is a mandatory field, so like if the source is not populating the value for this field, so then immediately it will fail. Okay, the source is not I mean like if the source is not populating the value, then it will immediately fail this particular mapping in the runtime. For example, let me show you that. Okay, so here item name index of uses. Okay, let me remove this index. I'm directly mapping this. Okay, let me simulate this and let me test this now. So see, you will definitely get an error for the item name here because the order occurrence there is no item name field which is now populated from the source system. So see, item name third occurrence is already shown, right? item name third occurrence here. It's failed here. So now what we have to do here is, so I would like to, the source is a here the source will not generate this particular item name sometimes from the source. That time the target is requested us to don't fail this in CPI. So just pass empty value to it. Okay, pass empty value to it. So how I can pass the empty value, because they are not sending the field at least. So for that we can use this map with default function. Okay, we will use this map with default function. So this map with default will just simply connect with this input and output. So this what it will do is, so it will simply, even the field is not generated from the source side. Okay, so it simply pass the empty value to the target. So see here, now if I check inside of it, invoice item, we have total 3 items. So the first item has a item name as iPhone 1, the second item has iPhone name as iPhone 2, the third item as empty. It is not populating the field at the sender side. Okay, it is not populating the value at the sender side, and it is sending this empty value to the target. So see, if I have a field for the first occurrence and second occurrence, I have a field from the source, the same values will be sent to this particular system. Same values will be sent to the target. If the field is doesn't exist from the source, if the field is doesn't exist from the source, then the map with default will generate the empty field at the target side. So it's not only empty field if you keep any of the default value here. Okay, so I mean like not applicable, item name is not applicable, something like this. So if I maintain the mean like a default value there, so it will create this particular, so it's running. So see here, it will just simply create this particular item at the target station. So see here, NA, it's on a map with default with NA. Okay, so this is the way you will use this particular, I mean like message mapping node functions. Okay, so this is about this map with default function. Okay, so now we are pending sort by key. You can just try this from your end. So mostly these all are done. So map with default form, I mean use one as many, format by example, we'll discuss in the some other session. Okay, so it requires some focus, I mean. Okay, so let's discuss this in the next session. Okay, so now, okay, so now this is mostly we are done with the mapping. So now let's discuss about what are all the supported schemas. Okay, schemas means the structure references in the message mapping. Okay, so we almost done all the message mapping functions here. So you may had a query, what is this parameters and what is this particular imported archives means. So see, these two parameters and imported archives is for the migrated interfaces from PIPO to CPI. Okay, this is not applicable for direct CPI message mapping implementations. Okay, so this is built for the mappings is migrating from PIPO to CPI. That for that particular reason, where they maintain these particular two parameterized mapping and also imported archives, nothing but a Groovy script, JavaScript. So that one we will use here. Okay. So now let's complete what are all the schemas supported by this particular message mapping. Then we'll go for a, I mean like a custom message, I mean custom functions here. How to create a custom functions here. Okay, so now let's, okay, so now this is done. So now let's, what are all the supported types. So see, we have a different supported types here. So let me show you this. So first is in a EDM, sorry, sorry, XSD. So we already used source and both source and target, both we use as XSD. Next is WSDL. Okay, WSDL, that is a WSDL file. When we are connecting with SOAP services, we will get WSDL file, right? That WSDL file we will use. And the next is EDMX. Okay, the next is EDMX file. The next one is JSON Okay, JSON OS. So how to get these files? So Visual EDMX, it's when you're connecting with any of the service they will provide, but I mean like JSON OS, I will show you. Okay, here let's create a one more message mapping here. Okay, so here transformation message mapping. Okay, so this message mapping I'm creating for the testing the WSDL file. Okay, WSDL file. Okay, mm_underscore WSDL. Okay, there is no dependency. Okay, so you can use XSD at the source, you can use WSDL at the target set, or WSDL as a source set and XSD as a target set. There is no dependency here. Okay, please keep this in mind. So I'm using source invoice payload here. Okay, I'm just adding the visual file now. So here let me upload this from the source system. So desktop and desktop folder, training docs, WSDL, and calculator.visual. Let me open it. It will ask which method you are trying to post to the target system in this message mapping. So I'm using add function. So see, add is added here. So now you can just map these two fields like a just a sample. So just for your understanding, what are all the supported ways? So see, these are the two. Okay, so that I'm just adding. So item quantity and item cost, and I'm passing these values to the target. So like this. So see here, you just I mean, if I do the simulation here, so see here, let me upload this invoice file here, and if I test this, the first occurrence of this item values will be written by the target field and uploaded in the target set. I mean that value will be populated. So see, int A is 3, int B is 50,000 as per the first invoice, first item. So see, item quantity 2 and item cost is 50,000. So like this, it will create the target structure. If you download it, you can see as a XML payload here. So see here. So this will show as XML, but this will be sent to the target system. Okay, like this, you can use a WSDL. Okay, so now this is done, the WSDL done. So we have a OData service, right? If you remember, when you are connecting with OData service, the EDMX file. EDMX file also you can use for the message mapping reference. So let me show you that as well. So how you can use that as a reference. So here let's try to connect with that EDMX file. So it will automatically generate that particular. So the external call, the request reply, just connect with the receiver. I'm using OData, OData V2. And let's take this endpoint URL. Okay. So this is the external data source. So this is the API time to use from SAP. Okay, so now let's go to connection here. Okay, and proceed, and let me select this. So here when I am selecting entity, okay, so here it will try to connect with this. Okay, so here I would like to try to use products here, and I need XSD and EDMX file. EDMX will automatically generate. Selecting these all fields and finish. So see here, EDMX file is created. It's showing like EDMX file. So if I go and check the references, so the adapter itself downloaded this EDMX file. Okay, you can create a new mapping here for the EDMX. Create. So see, I'm not sure. Someone asked this question. What are all the supported ways? Okay, so for this, I didn't remember. Someone asked. I will cover later. So just focus on this. Okay, so this is the product entity get. Okay, so here this is the product entities which we are getting from the source. The target you can select as a EDMX. Okay, so there we have a multiple. So the product test what entity you are reading. So products, right? So you can use this one. So see the same message mapping, you can do this. You see there is no change in it XST and also this particular values. So see everything is mapped automatically simple. Okay, like this particular message mapping will be done by using this particular uh, EDMX file. Okay, and with this one. So now this is the interesting one, the next one which I am discussing. Okay, so this is very interesting. So see, actually, whatever we discuss, the EDMX, XM, I mean XSD, and also the which we discussed now, what it is, uh, like a SOAP, WSDL, had its, I mean, like it will support only the XML files. Alright, it will support XML files in the message mapping. But now, whatever I am discussing now, it will support JSON as well. Okay, it will support JSON as well. So for example, let's take a, so here if you say this and there's a menu, if you say this, so we have a SAP Business Accelerator Hub. Okay, if we have an option like SAP Business Accelerator Hub, so in this Business Accelerator Hub, so we have a multiple APIs. Okay, so multiple APIs means like a, we have this particular SAP Business Accelerator Hub here. So SAP is maintaining all their systems API documentation here. So like for GoRest website, GoRest is maintaining their website, right, to explain what is this get call, what is post call, if you remember. So now here we are discussing about this. I mean, this accelerator hub from SAP. It covers all these particular areas. So whatever the products they had. Okay, this for S4 HANA Cloud Publication, S4 HANA Cloud Private Edition, and a customer experience. So customer experience. So here customer experience and so like SAP Ariba, SuccessFactors, Business Technology Platform, and also Concur, and also Fieldglass. So they had many systems. Okay, internally, these systems having thousands of APIs. Okay, these systems having thousands of APIs. So you just whatever the object you want to connect, just search with that. So for example, I would like to do uh, product. Okay, so I would like to create a product information in the S4 HANA system. So if I search for product, so see here order management foundation, cloud customers, S4 HANA public. So like I would like to use this particular this one like a product integration. So see if I want to create, okay, it is a deprecated. Let's check for a latest version. So product, so maybe this is the latest one. Let's check. Yes, this is the latest one. So here in the try it out. So see here. So it will automatically log. So you can just try to read the data from this SAP sandbox here. Okay, here we have some APIs. Okay, see these are all the APIs. So like product case or product sales delivery change. So we have this will be taken care of functional. You don't need to worry. Okay, so this will be taken care of functional. They will provide which API you have to use. But why I came here is, so in this particular SAP Business Accelerator Hub, so we have and one of the option like API specification. In the overview option, we have a API specification. There you can download either EDMX or this particular JSON OAS. Okay, I just downloaded this JSON file so that you can upload into message mapping level. Okay, so let me create a, I mean like a new message mapping mm underscore JSON OS. JSON OS. Let me create it. So here I'm using this product one at the source and click on OK. So and add to target message here. So say I'm trying to add that particular JSON file which I downloaded. So downloads, it's a JSON, and click on open. So here I would like to create a product. Okay, so products, only products. So this API I'm calling. So you can find all these API details here, which API you are connecting at the target side. So that API you can select and you can directly generate that data. Okay, so I would like to post this data. You can select post request I'm doing. So just to say, so unable to add this existing file in the mapping for the phone is API note. Why? So why? What is the error here? What is the error here? Product, product, get response 200. Something is happening, but it should work. Okay. Uh, Let me try. Is there any JSON OS files? But it is not a rare scenario where when we are using JSON OS, it's very rare scenario. Just for your info, I'm explaining this. Okay, so this is somewhere I have some JSON OS file. I'm just checking for it. So see here, external doc service here. So let me keep this in desktop and let me try to use this one. External doc service. So this is the simple JSON OS post response. So like 400, let's take for. So see like error code message. So this is in a JSON OS. I read from the JSON OS. The product also has to work, but I'm not sure it's having some issues. Maybe some updates came. So, but this is the JSON payload. Okay, this is the JSON data at the target side. The message mapping. Even you're getting okay. Let me use a message mapping as XSD because I don't have a product data. Okay, product test payload to test it. Okay, so let me use this invoice, a source invoice. Okay, and just map the some of the fields in the from the source. What are the values you wanted to pass here? So here you wanted to just send code as invoice number. Okay, invoice number and a message as a, let's take a item invoice cost. Okay, so let me click on OK. So okay, I'm going here. Okay, let me go back and let's do simulation there itself. Okay, so let me simulate here. So here let me upload this payload. So here let me click on open and see if I click on test here. So here you can see it's case created. Let me download. So the source is XST, I mean XML file. The target is XML. Okay, so many of the 90% of the developer doesn't know about this feature. The message mapping will directly convert this XML to JSON. Many of the people will think only XML to XML, but message mapping will support XML to JSON and JSON to XML conversion also when you have this JSON OAS files. Okay, whatever I downloaded from Business Accelerator Hub, right? So like that, so you need a JSON OAS file, then only you can use in the message mapping. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay, this is the way. So the incoming file, the input file which I'm sending in a XML format, but output I'm getting in JSON. That means message mapping will convert the data from XML to JSON as well. And if you are getting JSON data, if you had a JSON OS structure, that you can refer in the message mapping and you can convert it. Okay, so this is okay. This is the way you can create it. We'll use different schemas in the message mapping. Any queries from anyone on this? So it's depends. So if you are connecting with the SOAP API, you will use a WSDL file in the message mapping. So if you are connecting with REST API, many of the cases we will go with XST. If you had a JSON OAS, then you will use it. OData always EDMX. Hope everyone clear right on this.
Chandra, one question.
Yeah.
So we have changed the occurrences manually in XSD, right? Based on
Ah,
our
yes,
requirement.
yes.
How about this rest of the file types? That also we
There
have to.
also we have. So see, so they has to change the definition of their particular service. Okay, so it depends upon their service. You cannot make changes on this WSDL file, EDMX files, and JSON OS because that is defined in the service level of the target. If you are connecting with WSDL, okay, you cannot change any definition in the WSDL because it's a third party WSDL. Okay, when you are using XSD, that's a standalone that is created in your system and you are using it. Also, one thing, XSD also you can make a change in the XSD that's based on the inputs from the target or source system details because the schema is defined by the source or target systems. Okay, XSD you have a feasibility, you can directly edit it, but WSDL file, JSON OS, and also EDMX will be updated at the service level. From that service, you can download the updated WSDL or EDMX or this particular JSON OS, and again you can re-upload into your CPI system with rewriting. I mean, with replacing the old value. Okay, even you
Yeah.
made changes, it will not be reflected the service side because it is defined at the service level.
Understood. Understood. So, whatever the changes we have to do, we have to do at service level, not at the file type level.
File type. So if you want to do testing from your side, okay, so like you can make a changes in this and you can do it, but it has to be applied in the service level as well. Otherwise, while posting the data, you will get an error.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah, it depends upon the, I mean, like a mutual understanding of the target system service and also which we are using in the CPA references.
Okay.
Yeah, these structures all are while we started any of this particular project. So everything will be defined. Always they will send same structures. They will not change anything when they are triggering the data. So that will be defined. If any of the team is making the changes, they will definitely they had a change request. The change request requires approval. If they made any of the change request, what are all the impact, I mean, like what are all the interfaces will impact everything, they will do the analysis. Then only they will make these occurrences and also fields, new fields adding, like that they will do.
Okay. So generally, changing fields at service level, it is not our duty, right? I mean,
No, our duty, it's not on our duty. Yes, you are correct, it's not our duty.
Acha. Okay. Otherwise, the thing is that we have to learn that also, right? With the.
That wise means it depends upon the project. So like if
Hmm,
they
hmm.
are giving KT, so some projects. So if it is in a sample task, if you are working in production system, production support project, so they may give KT to you. These are the changes you have to do frequently. That time we cannot do anything. If they are providing KT and if they want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it depends upon the project, but many of the cases, so like 80 to 85% of the cases, we are not responsible for this particular changing this particular XSD at the source and target systems because we are not in that part. We are integration developers. We will do only the integrations. Okay, that's
Yeah.
at our end, so we can stick to it. Okay, so if not, if this project and they are not in our hands, then we have to do work that area as well, but they will definitely provide some of the point of contacts or the same will give you some references from the earlier experience, so based with that references you can just configure it and leave it. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fine. And but majority wise, we'll
we will
get
not
all
do
the
it.
no, no, XSD files will be doing
No,
will be.
majorly we will use XSDs.
Okay.
This WSDL is only for soap services, EDMX only for OData services. This
Okay.
JSON OS only standard APIs. So this is the way. Majorities we will use XSTs. So
Okay.
some of the developers I just explained, right? So 90% of the developers doesn't know this about future. We can use JSON OS in the message mapping. Even if you're answering in the interview, okay, you will definitely get a question, the reverse question like, will it message mapping will accept JSON payload? Like this, they will reversely ask you. But many of the people doesn't know. I know that. So just, I mean, if required, you can include this particular option when you are attending interviews about JSON OS. Otherwise, skip this part because many of them are, they will argue with you. JSON will not support like this. Okay, if you had a clear explanation, okay, if you had a clear explanation capability, so we have a JSON OS structure that we can upload from the this part. I mean API Business Accelerator Hub that we can upload as a structure reference in message mapping in CPI. So then message mapping itself will convert the incoming XML to JSON. If you had the, I mean, this capability to explain each and individual step, then they will agree. Otherwise, don't involve this particular step in the message mapping level. Okay, in the interview.
Chandra, what is this reference type? Default it has taken as static, right? Do we have any other options?
Yes, we have an option static like a dynamic. So you can just, so if you have a multiple structures, okay. So like if you're dealing with orders and also like if you remember, when we are going for, so okay, so dynamically we are generating the endpoint URL, right? User ID.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Yes.
remember, for while you are connecting with the Go REST API, dynamically we are. So if they are getting, I mean, operation based on the operation. If they are getting for a get operation, we are calling get operation. If it is a post operation. So like this, if the one interface is handling multiple types of data, okay, so such cases you have to provide this particular expression. So the message mapping name will be stored in that particular property or header. That header will be reading here. So that header has to be having the path like this. Let me show you that. The references here, you can see the message mapping, right? If you just make it, I mean, like maintain this particular cursor on this mapping slash edmx.mmap, you have to pass that value to that particular so for example, let me show you, we have multiple, right? So let me show you this. So here, mhm. So let me take it to dynamic. So before this particular option, I'm using one content modifier. This content modifier I am using mapping header. You can also create property as well, no issues. Okay, so mapping name like this. Okay, mapping name, and I'm using a constant value only. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is mapping slash edmx. Okay, what is the message mapping name? Let me check once. References edmx.mmap. Okay, so just dynamically you can call this one. So edmx.mmap. Okay, so it's called, right? So now you can call this message mapping name as a property. So I mean in the references, so see in the references you have a multiple payloads here. Okay, in the references you have a multiple payloads. So like whenever you have this, okay, so here you can see this. So just you can use this dollar curly brace header header dot this particular message mapping name. So this they will be generated dynamically here. So see here references. Let me check what is the input payload for this EDMX. Okay, products. I don't have the products payload now. Let me use this our mm underscore invoice payload only. Okay, I can just simply pass this mm underscore invoice. So whatever the file name you want, so you have to dynamically pass this mm underscore invoice. Okay, so you have to pass this. So like so here now I have this data, right? So here update file, so desktop. Where is this invoice payload here? Invoice.xml and click on open and let me click on OK. So it will dynamically read this data. Okay, so now let me run the simulation. Just give me a second, I will be on mute. So here it is failing here in the message mapping or dynamic object. Record message mapping artifact is not available. Why? Okay, let me check. So mm invoice. This is the message mapping, right? Let me copy this. Let me check the path. Mapping slash. So see the access path is here. It is showing access path, right? That you can use in invoice.mmap. What value I'm passing? Let me check. Invoice mapping mapping slash invoice.mm. Something is missing here. Let me check. invoice.mmap. Invoice. Is capital INVOICE. Mapping. Okay, let me remove this mmap. Okay, let's try this.
Or it should be message mapping, right?
No, mapping only. It should be mapping only, not message mapping. Default message mapping artifact is not available. Let's see, mapping slash. So see here the same path you can use here. So here let me. It should work actually.
Whether is that the value is correct which you give mapping slash.
See here. So when I maintain the mouse here, so it's showing the path, right? Access path is mapping
Mm-hmm.
slash mm invoice dot mmap, correct? So the same path you can use there. We cannot copy it, but so the same file you have to give there. So if I go for a schemas, so see schema slash, I mean WSDL slash, if it is an XSD, so JSON slash, if it is an XSD slash. So like this, it will provide these details. Okay. So here, let's see. So for this also, it should give the same mapping slash. It should work. So I worked with many scenarios here. Why it is giving like this? So mapping name. Okay. So HEAD dollar curly brace header dot. Let me check this particular header name. Is there any missing? Mapping name is common. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's go to documentation. Maybe I'm writing syntax wrongly. Syntax custom fields. Okay, dynamic. Okay, anyway, no issue. So I will check this. Okay, so we'll check. So I have given the right value here, but it is not mapping. That is correct. And okay, let's maintain. Maybe it's not. It's using in a message mapping only, right? So let's maintain only this mapping name. We'll see it will call or not. It should call it, but let's see. mm_invoice.mmap. Actually, we will give, so for XSLT mapping also, we have a same scenario. I mean, dynamic and static, we will also use the same thing there. While trying to invoke this method, java.longdocs new instance of null object load as a variable mapping class. What is error? Okay, anyway, I will check this. Okay, so let's discuss about this in detail tomorrow. So, but I have given the right value and parameter here. So, so this is just to dynamically read this particular mapping. If you had a multiple types of message mapping here, so based on the partner, if you want to do the different mapping, so you can use this dynamic message mapping. Okay, so that's the way it will work. Okay, so just try from your end. Let's see. So I will check and I will let's discuss tomorrow on this. Okay, so this is about the message mapping with the different access days. Okay, so now this is done. So okay, so we also discussed about global, right? I believe so. I mean, I remember. So for references, global references, I explained. So how to create a message mapping globally. Okay, so that you can just check once. I hope you already created it. If not, just configured it. Okay, so this is about today's session. Mostly message mapping is done. So like except this custom function. So let's discuss that about tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow we have a session. Okay, same time. Okay, so let's continue. If the changes timings are changed, so I will let you know. Maybe it's 8:15 we will connect. Any issues from anyone?
May not be possible for me, Chandra, but it's okay. I'll go through the recording.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Chandra, let's connect at the regular time, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. So we'll update Sirisha. Okay, we'll update
Yeah.
in the group because I would like to merge two batches. So there's some time constraints for some of them. So that is the reason. For you also say okay. Let's continue at the 7 a.m. only. We'll connect. Okay, so we'll keep it as separate. Okay, let's continue in the same time. Okay, let's connect at 7 only tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chandra, can you
Chandra,
check the yesterday's class?
I will check, Srikanth. I will check.
Yeah. Thank you.
Chandra, can you share that .csv file?
Okay. That okay. I didn't get a chance to check on it, Adya.
No, that's
We'll
fine.
share
I
in the
mean,
group.
once you get
Okay.
the time, just please share it with me. So I'll
Okay.
try to
Sure.
upload that.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chandra. Yeah.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.